Welcome to John's Study Learning Channel. In the intricate tapestry of life, the concept of inherited change weaves a profound narrative that spans generations, a topic of fascination and exploration, especially for A-level students. Inherited change delves into the intricate interplay between genetics, environment, and evaluation. As we embark on this intellectual journey, we unravel the mysteries of how traits, behavior, and characteristics are passed down through generations, shaping the very essence of who we are. Join us as we delve into the fascinating realms of inherited change, where the threads of the past intertwine with the possibility of the future. Test process. The purpose of test process is breeding experiment carried out to determine the genotype of organisms that show dominant characteristics. In mammal, the gene determines hair color as two alleles, B, which result in the brown fur, and B, lead to the white fur. Below is a genetic diagram where we can plot genetic type and phenotype, which is capital B refer to the brown fur, capital B and B refer to the brown fur, and small b refer to white fur. To determine the genotype of an animal with a brown fur, one can breed it with an animal exhibiting white fur, whose genotype must be DB. The resulting offspring phenotypes will reveal whether the brown fur animal carry one or two copies of the B allele. If white offsprings are present, it indicates that the unknown animal likely has the genotype BB, as it must have passed as a B allele to this offspring. On the other hand, in the absence of white offspring, the unknown animal probably has the genotype capital BB. However, it remains possible that it is capital BB, and by chance, none of its offspring inherited the B allele from it. Codominance. In the context of cystic fibrosis, one allele typically exhibits dominance over the other, leading to a dominant recessive relationship. However, it is important to note that certain alleles can be codominant, which is allele in a heterozygote has a distinct effect. And in cases of codominant alleles, it is more accurate to represent them using capital letters for the gene and superscript to denote the specific alleles rather than relying on capital and lowercase letters. And this notation ensures a more precise representation of the genetic information. And in some breed of capitals, there are two alleles for coat color. CR is the allele for the red coat, and CW is the alleles for the white coat. When you table up the genetic diagram, you might have genotype and phenotype. CR is referring to red coat. CW is referring to coat with mixtures of the red and white hairs grown. And CW is referring to the white coat. For the multiple alleles, the gene responsible for determining the antigens on red blood cells and consequently your blood group exhibit more than two alleles. An example of such a gene is the one associated with the ABO blood group system, which has three alleles, IA, IB, IO. And IA and IB are codominants, and both dominants to IO, which is recessive. We have a genetic diagram, genotype and phenotype. IA is referring to blood group A. IAIB is referring to phenotype blood group AB. IEIO refers to the blood group A. IBIB refers to the blood group B. IBIO refers to the blood group B. And IOIO refers to blood group O. Example, you could have been asked to use genetic diagram to show how parents with the blood group A and B could have a child with the blood group O. So on the right-hand side is an example how do you establish the genetic diagram to show how parents with the blood group A and B and could have a child with the blood group O. So you might have a parent's phenotype, which is blood group A and blood group B. And for the parents' genotype, you might write it as IA and IO, IB and IO. So when it comes to the gamete genotypes, you might draw like this, which is in a circle IA, IO, IB, IO. And when you use this to tabulate the genetic diagram, you might have offspring genotype and phenotype. You might have for the blood group A is IA, and the blood group B, IB, IO is IO. And then you might have IB and IO. So when the combination of IA and IB, you might have the blood group AB. IB, IO, you might have a blood group B. And IA, IO, you might have a blood group A. And IO, IO is the outcome for blood group O. So this is how you tabulate the use of the genetic diagram to show how parents with the blood group A and B would have a child with the blood group O. And how do you answer the previous questions in the examination? First, you have to address this genetic problem. Start with by constructing a table that outlines both genotype and phenotype for easy reference during the analysis. Secondly, you have to examine if you can reduce the genotype of any individuals based on their observed physical traits, which is phenotype. In the given example, the child with the blood group O implies a genotype of IOUO. Thirdly, we have to trace back to identify the parental genotypes. In this scenario, both parents must contribute NIO alleles to produce a child with a genotype IOUO. And fourthly, you have to ensure the clarity by presenting a comprehensive genetic diagram which illustrates the inheritance patterns and relationship involved in the problem. With that being said, in a conclusion, stay connected and informed by subscribing to Jom Study YouTube channel. And best of luck in your studies. And thank you for your attention and support. Remember to enable your notifications, stay engaged and informed. Thank you very much.